Thank you. Growing anger that the council workers suspended over the failings which led to the death of baby P are still pocketing their full salaries. Haringey's former head of Children's Services, Sharon Shoesmith, is among those continuing to receive full pay, £2,000 a week. The council says its hands are tied by employment law. Joined now from our central London studio by Peter Linstead, who's an employment barrister at Tanfield Chambers, joins us live. As you can see, Mr Linstead, thank you for joining us on Afternoon Live. What are the options for the council, do you think?
Well, it's a difficult situation from the point of view of employment law because they can't just sack an employee. She has certain rights. They can't just ask her to walk out of the door. She has to be allowed to be taken through a process where they make specific allegations about her misconduct or her dereliction of duty. She has to have an opportunity to answer those. Now, they're also entitled to suspend her whilst they look into those allegations. And the law also requires that they suspend her on full pay. So although it may well seem unpopular, that's really what employment law requires them to do. And if they were not to pay her at this point in time, she could say that they had breached her contract and also that they were prejudging their own internal investigation. And that obviously would give her a right to bring a claim in the courts, and potentially the taxpayer would ultimately end up paying more money in this whole situation. So in simple terms, that's the legal position.
But could that investigation that they're now carrying out not have run concurrently with the other investigation that was being carried out on behalf of the Children's Secretary? Well,
it's not clear exactly what kind of investigation they're going to carry out within the council. I think the position was that they had to wait and see what the Ofsted report was going to say before they ran their own internal procedures, particularly where you have a situation as here, where apparently Sharon Shoesmith was saying that she'd done nothing wrong and she was defending the staff under her. And that hitherto seemed to have been the position as far as the council internally, whatever the government ministers wanted to do. Now that Ofsted report has been produced, it seems that the Minister, Ed Balls, has used some powers available to him to remove her from office, but the employment law requirements have still got to run their course.
OK, so let's talk generally. If, say, you were employed to look after children, you found yourself in a position where a child had died, and you were subsequently severely criticised by the Secretary of State, your ultimate boss, would you not expect to lose your job and your salary?
Well, the Secretary of State obviously has responsibilities. He has statutory responsibilities. Obviously, the Children Act requires that the government make sure that the welfare of children is paramount, and of course the local authorities have to do that as well. But of course, he can't know the finer detail of how the council actually operates. And the simple situation is that the way the law is set up, any employee is entitled to have their say in a process which leads to their dismissal. And clearly here there is a difference of view between those employees, and I include the Director of Children's Services when I say employees, those employees who have been responsible for this situation, who say they've done everything right, and the government now backed by the Ofsted report who say that's simply not the case.
Now, if she was I'm sorry to interrupt, we are slightly short of time, but if she is ultimately finding herself without a job and without £100,000 a year salary, will she get a pension?
The answer is no. I mean, one would assume that the government are going to say this is gross misconduct, or employers will say it's gross misconduct. There's been some gross dereliction of duty. That could potentially lead to a summary dismissal. That would end any benefit she has. She wouldn't be entitled to a pension from that moment on.
OK. Mr Linstead, thank you very much indeed for sharing your expertise with us. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Let us know what you think. News at sky.com, 84501. Need more information? Check out our website, skynews.com.